Hey guys, welcome back again from Daytona Beach. Today I've got a review of the 2018 Indian Roadmaster. This is a gorgeous bike. Oh my goodness. Love the color tones. Oh! There we go. Whew. This is their biggest in the line. So let's see, turning it on. Power. Okay. Nope, that's off. That turns it on. Should do it again to start, I think. Am I in neutral? Nope. Okay, why is it not starting? I'm doing something wrong, I know it. Okay, turn off the radio. I'm not starting this. Well, it'll stop thieves. How do you start it? Did that.
Oh, you did that, yep. You're in neutral.
Yep. Somebody take the key?
Yeah, there's no key fob here.
So I'm not going crazy.
Are you in? Oh, you're in first.
Says neutral.
Oh, you're in neutral. Hey, Rich. Tom. What am I doing wrong here? We're on. We're in neutral.
You ain't doing nothing wrong. Kickstand? What about your kickstand?
Kickstand's up.
Yeah. That move.
No idea.
What was it?
Huh.
You good?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Not a great way to start a review. Alright, we're off. Oh, super comfy plush seat. This thing is like a pillow top. It's actually on the narrow side. I'm kind of rolling off with my cheeks, but it is extremely comfy. It feels like there's a big spring and a pillow in it. The dash is very close to me. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but I can't even see the screen. Looking straight ahead, I have to tilt my head down. It's, of course, fork mounted, so that's why everything is super close to you, which makes everything actually usable. I can touch the screen, I can hit all the buttons, and actually use it while I'm going down the road. Definitely appreciate that. It's no good to have an awesome touch screen if you can only touch it when you're stopped at a light. There is a significant nosedive. That was a very slow speed stop, and this thing just plows into the ground. Tons of torque here, just touching the throttle. Not a lot of power though. I have to give this a lot of throttle to get it going. Doesn't have a ton of torque right off idle. Got a check engine light on. Hopefully it doesn't die during the ride. We got 6 speeds going up into top gear here, 45 miles an hour, about 1800 RPM, on par with other touring bikes out there. Let's do a little roll on. About average. Certainly enough power, what you would expect out of top gear at this speed. You just feel the engine. It is floating down the road, as you would expect with any kind of touring model. Very comfy suspension, feels like big balloon tires. You don't feel a thing on the road. Transmission is not bad. It's not clunky. It's not quite butter smooth or snicky. It's in between. I don't have a problem with it. Low speed handling is decent. As long as you apply a little rear brake, balance is okay till about 1 mile an hour, and then you definitely feel it tippy. Center of gravity is pretty low. Feels like the fairing is extremely heavy. I feel a lot of weight on the actual bars tipping it here, but the engine itself, you can tell it's very low. Feels right below you, as it probably is. I'm already feeling heat on my right leg. I got pipes. Oh, right there. That explains it. It is actually under my knee. And it's cool out today. Gauges are very easy to read, very car-like. But again, I do have to tip my head down. I cannot just glance down. I'm wearing a full-face helmet. I don't know how many Indian riders wear one of these. If you weren't wearing a full face and you didn't have a chin bar right here, well, it wouldn't be a problem. But that's what's blocking my view. So I do have to tip my head down a little bit just to see the speedometer and tachometer. Beautiful looking details on the bike. Chrome everywhere. Mirrors are on the small side. I'm going to adjust them here in a second. But the actual size is pretty small. Once you actually give it throttle, it kind of wakes up. There's like a switch. It's almost like it's in a ride mode here, where it's got a different throttle cam, because it's got almost nothing to the feel for the first 10 or 15% of throttle, and then it just kicks. Turns in decent enough. Definitely doesn't swoop down into a corner. You feel the weight. Does have self-canceling turn signals. I appreciate that. The exhaust note's nice. It's got a bit of a thump to it. At idle, you don't hear anything. It's not until you actually start revving it up. I like the power band on it. It does not just cut out. It pulls all the way up. It's nice and smooth. Red line here. Can't even see the actual top of the tack to tell you. Wallows a bit in the middle of the corner. It kind of drifts. You feel the suspension bouncing, which definitely affects your turn line. Very, very soft, compliant suspension, soaking up all these little bumps and imperfections. However, it is bouncing. You can see the guy right in front of me. He's bouncing all over the place, and so am I. Not a very controlled ride. It feels like we're on big springs minus the shock absorbers. So that's the kind of ride you get with this. Definitely not a refined touring bike suspension compared to the competition. But it's comfy. It's not going to jar you. It's just going to bounce you. I don't know what kind of lean angle we've got, but it actually doesn't appear to be too bad. Got some nice angles on the boards. And they are comfy boards. Got a nice width. Fits my feet all the way back down to my heel. I'm not hanging off the edge at all. That's nice. Of course, you got full fairing protection even for your feet. Nice big thick shifter peg and a huge brake pedal. Very easy to get to. I would prefer a heel shifter with boards though. I'm looking for the gear selector. Oh, there it is on the right. It's just a number floating there, and it's a very old school looking LCD. The numbers don't even look very good, but it doesn't tell you what it is. It's just a number. It doesn't say gear position or selector or anything. Let's go up in the top gear here. So this is what this bike is made for. Just sitting here cruising straight down a freeway. Got a lot of wind noise here at 45 miles an hour. It does have an electric windscreen. Let me figure out where that is. Right. Why didn't it move? Let's find neutral. Easy enough. So let's give it full throttle. That's it. So about 38 miles an hour to first. It's not going to win any performance awards, but loaded up with a passenger and luggage. It's got a ton of torque to get you moving. That's what it's made for. Just not a big fan of the super low redline engines and short gears. It's a lot of shifting. Very slow windscreen. That's an old school motor. Wow. Definitely could use some improvement there. Now you can double tap it and it'll go all the way up or down to the extreme. I like that. Let's see what it's like as far as wind here all the way up. Its competition is very good. Wow. Lots of buffeting. This would give me a headache in about 2 minutes. It's just in my helmet. So, all that means is they left the market open for aftermarket windscreen solutions. Go back down. It's windy, but it's at least clean. So it's not going to be your go across the country in comfort out of the box bike. There are definitely a lot of things that you would have to change on this. It is extremely windy. It's hitting me all around the helmet, hitting me right smack in the center here. Actually can't stand that either. Right here I'm starting to get buffeting. That's worse. Jeez. Not enjoyable. He's hanging off. Oh, this is a pig in corners. Holy moly, it just rolls. It shows its weight. You know, some other bikes, like the Yamaha series, like the Goldwing, like some of the Harleys, I can't even hear myself speak. It is so loud. They hide their weight very well once you get the thing rolling more than a couple miles an hour. This does not. You feel how big and heavy this bike is every single moment you're on it. It's kind of unique. I don't know if it's a combination of having so many fairings and all this wind drag, but the Street Glide doesn't do that. I'll tell you that right now. And that's a very similar made bike. He loves these corners. That's okay with me. It just plows. It does not want to turn. I'm fighting the bars all the way through the turns. And it's bouncing. You can see the windscreen there. That's from the suspension, not the wind. The whole jittering on these little bumps. Wow, that's kind of surprising. So I did play with the stereo a little bit here. It's loud enough. Sounds on par with anything else out there. The actual display, the touchscreen, is phenomenal. Current generation. Right now there's really only one TFT being used on all these bikes, and it works great. I mean, it's high resolution, touchscreen works flawlessly, and this is a very nice layout. I have no problem with the way this is set up at all. Buttons are all extremely high quality. Not really a fan of the plastic chrome they've used here, though. You can tell it's not metal. It has a funny finish to it. It looks a little dull compared to the bars. And unfortunately, that's just what Polaris does. And they did the same thing with their Victory bikes. Not digging that. It's noticeable to my eye. If you come off a Harley, you're definitely going to notice that right away. A lot of plastic chrome on this compared to metal. Now going down the road here, there is a lot of chassis shake, and it's coming from the forks. I don't feel any vibration at all from the engine itself. It's very smooth all the way through the revs. I want to try the brakes here and a little, just do front. Lots of dive. I mean, the whole thing just blup, 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 blup. Yeah. I'm not sure what they were thinking with the suspension. Obviously, they were going for plush, but the damping needs a lot of work. You definitely owe it to yourself to try the competition if you're looking for this kind of bike. If you're just a die-hard Indian fan and you've never done so, believe me, you don't know exactly what you're missing. Surprisingly, I know a lot of people that are into these kind of bikes, man. They are just fanboys. They love their brand, they love their model, and nothing else will even be considered. But they got really strong opinions about how best their bike is, and yet you ask them, well, have you ridden such and such? No. Oh, okay. A lot of people think I bash on cruisers or I bash on particular brands. It's funny, I'll be accused of being a Harley rider, and I'll be accused of being a Japanese rider. I'm fair. If there's something that sticks out, I'm going to call it. Not calling myself an expert, I just have a basis to tell you this is better than that, or at least this is different than that, and why. I don't just ride an Indian, so I don't think Indian is the best bike on the planet. Not saying this is a bad bike. I'm just saying there might be something else you're looking for that you might not know about. So there you go, guys. There's your 2018 Indian Roadmaster. And of course, a big difference between the Roadmaster and the Chieftain series is passenger comfort. You get the huge rear seat and trunk here on the Roadmaster, as you can see right in front of me there. See you next time.